Just 10 points by April 11, 2025. Southampton have been relegated to the Championship for the second time in just 3 years. So what has led to this woeful season? Will they be back? Who's at fault? Personally, I believe it was a lack of belief and poor decision that has led to Southampton's downfall. Sports Republic. The owners of Southampton have been flamed in the media and by fans for their lack of management skills involved in the club. So in this video, we will look at why they were relegated and the current manager candidates, and what they could spell for the club's future. With relegation now completely confirmed, it's time for Southampton to regroup. So what led them here? I think that personally it all began with Russell Martin's unwillingness to adapt his system, playing an exciting brand of football that was high risk, high reward, and was not applicable with the quality at his disposal. That's not to say he isn't a good manager, though I really believe that with the right quality of players he could do really well. It just didn't work with a relegation quality team. So then in December, they sacked Russell Martin and appointed Ivan Juric. This was both a blessing and a curse for the Saints, as he came in and gave all the players a reality check. However, only picked up a whopping 4 points in 4 months. Something has to be wrong internally at the club. There must have been a reason he's second to Nathan Jones the last time Southampton went down. I personally loved the work he did at Torino, but since then he has managed Roma and only lasted 3 months, and Southampton, which in all fairness was already ruined when he went in, let alone when he left. Southampton have been the home of some rather poor business over the past few years, selling young prospects for loads, but not replacing them in the way they used to. Overpaying for players such as Flynn Downs and Taylor Harwood-Bellis, not to mention Cameron Archer, the striker, with a whopping 1 goal for them this season. This lack of good recruitment tells me Southampton was doomed to fail in 2025. In previous years, Southampton were the home to developing undiscovered talent that would later become world beaters, developing the likes of Gareth Bale and Sadio Mane. But recently, since Sports Republic took over in 2023, their recruitment has been abysmal to say the least. Not all the transfers were bad though. I am personally a fan of Fernandes. I believe he has been their best player by far this season, and will be essential if they can keep him next season. Next to that, you have the rise of young star Tyler Dippling, who started the season well but became useless towards the back end of the season, and will be a player they should look to cash in on when they get the chance for the right price. Arguably the least exciting option of the candidates. Frank Lampard has rejuvenated Coventry, however. I am not convinced. I believe a Southampton team under Frank Lampard could go one of 2 ways. They can either be wonderful or terrible. However, I think best case scenario they go up via playoffs. I think the question we have to ask ourselves is, could Frank Lampard survive in the Premier League? And the overall consensus, no. I think his style of play has proven he can do it in the Prem, so he's probably better to stick with Coventry for the time being. But hypothetically, what would a Southampton team setting up under Frank Lampard look like? Frank Lampard sets up in a 4-2-3-1 using high press tactic and exposing the flanks. His possession tactic may work for Southampton in the Championship, playing a similar form of Russell Martin, which has proven not to work in the Premier League. He would probably look to bring in Ben Sheaf, Van Erwijk, to replace Walker Peters and potentially Haji Wright. However, the successfulness of these transfers may not work out, just like in the instance of Ross Stewart. A decent option for the Saints. Liam Rosenior is a solid choice for the role. He is having a very decent season at the moment with Strasbourg. It must be said though that while he is doing well, he also has the luxury of a financial backing of Blue Co, which he will not be given the same luxury at Southampton. It must be said though that while his career is taking off at the moment, he did have a rather mediocre stint in charge of Hull. He could potentially be a good fit for the Saint and I think there is a chance that he could keep Southampton in the Premier League, but I could also go the other way, so we would have to wait and see. So what would a Southampton team setting up under Liam Rosenior look like? Well, they would set up in a 3-4-2-1 and a 4-3-3. He uses a possession-based system. He uses a defensive and disciplined structure using intelligent trigger pressing and causing some dangerous counterattacks. I reckon he would look to bring in players such as Emiga Moreira, and maybe Silla. However, given Southampton's status and attractiveness, it is unlikely they would be able to attract all of these players. This would mean they would have to find players to fit Rosenier's system, meaning they would have to use good recruitment, which has not been Southampton's forte as of late, but could change under the new head of recruitment. Danny Röhl is my favorite of the three candidates that have been put forward for the job. Being Hasenhüttl's assistant, he would bring back a time of brilliance for Southampton. However, Southampton would face competition in the form of Leipzig for the manager who is highly sought after his job at Sheffield Wednesday. Danny Röhl is well known for staying out of the spotlight in the media, refusing to answer any questions about his future for next season until the season is out. He has had some promising experience being assistant manager at Bayern Southampton, and no manager. A Sheffield, he is what I want to see at Southampton. Röhl enjoys having a consistent threat in the final third, which he will enjoy with Southampton in the Championship. However, the success in the Premier League may come into question. Do I think Röhl could keep Southampton up? Yes, I think it's the most promising candidate, but only time will tell what he can do. Röhl is tactically flexible, using various formations, such as 4-2-2-2 and 4-3-3. He uses an aggressive, forward-thinking football style, emphasizing his high pressing and structured build-up play. Röhl tries to gain back possession quickly, looking to play through and play quick counterattack after winning back the ball. He emphasizes work rate and stamina above all else, using a run-till-you-drop formation. Who would Röhl bring across to Southampton? Bringing in the likes of Windass, who he will face solid competition for in the summer. He also may look to bring in Jan Valeri back to the Saints, and having already worked with Shea Charles at Wednesday, he could become a pivotal figure for the side. Thank you for watching, and comment your opinion down below. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. Thanks.